Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 27 of this super awesome, amazing Osu. I feel like I should find some new adjectives to use, but anyway, very awesome Osu Let's Play series. In the last episode, I touched on different types of maps that you should play or maybe avoid, depending on the type of player that you are. And in this episode, I want to touch on a certain skill named flow aim. This is something that a couple people have requested over the last few weeks, and I want to touch on how you can improve your flow aim and what exactly flow aim is, first of all, and different maps and different alternating styles as well, how the different alternating styles apply to different types of flow aim or different aspects of training it. Yes, but before we get started, I do want to shout out, as usual, that I live stream every single day over at twitch.tv/digitalhypno. So if you have not already stopped by and said hello, I would highly recommend doing that. Stopping by, you can hang out with me live or watch me play this game live. And bonus points if you tell me that you stopped or that you came from the Let's Play series. I'll be very happy to see you there. So yes, please stop by and say hello. But okay, with that, here's the first flow aim map that I'm going to show you guys. But I do want to mention that if you have not already seen my video named OCPHD, I would recommend watching that first. It'll be linked up in this little corner thingy or in the description. And yes, in that video, I give a much more structured explanation and introduction to a bunch of different skills in the game, including flow aim. So yes, check that out. And this video will sort of be expanding on those topics and things like that. And I think especially in this episode, I want to describe the nuances of like the different alternating styles and how that can affect your flow aim and like other random types of like skills in the game that can affect your flow aim as well. So yes, let's get started. So flow aim, by definition, is moving your cursor in a smooth line or smooth motion rather than snappy jumpy motion. I'm pretty sure those are the exact words I use in OCPHD, but anyway. I also want to mention, okay, so if you guys haven't seen episode 6, I'm pretty sure, episode 6 where I discussed alternating styles, please go watch that video as well. Because I will be explaining those topics as if you already know what those terms mean. So, okay, so cut stream. Okay, no, let's start a bit more basic than cut streams. Okay, so I think for the most part, flow aim is associated with streams for one, that's for sure, and also, so like with that, I think stream alting, which is like the more like flowy, like continuous tapping style, alternating style, is I think also most helpful for like most aspects of flow aim. But to be honest, especially when a pattern is very spaced, it I think is not super like always. It's not really always the case that you should use stream alting, because I think if you really want like the more deliberateness in your aim, I think tap stream alting, where it's sort of continuous, but also you sort of tap harder on the keys and you're a bit more deliberate. I think that style of tapping is much better suited for like aim consistency and especially more awkward types of patterns. Cut streams, I would say, to be honest, I think cut streams take a lot more aim control, and in that sense, I think if you really want to be consistent with aiming them, then you're probably going to want to tap a bit more deliberately as well. Okay, so as for training like the flowy, like continuous movement of your cursor in the first place, I would recommend trying auto method. To be honest, I think that's the best way to isolate that skill, and auto method is something I discussed in episode 25. So yeah, check that out. But accelerating streams, I can talk about that too. So accelerating streams, okay, so I think flow aim, okay, especially with hidden, okay, so I think for the most part, you really want to keep your cursor further behind the stream than you think you need to. I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb, especially for hidden. Oh wait, there's cut streams here. Look at these cut streams are so evil. Watch this. Yeah, I think tap alting helps a lot with patterns like this. Or tap stream alting. I keep saying that, yeah, tap stream alting. It just helps you be a bit more deliberate and, I guess, conscious of where your cursor is. And you can make the jump with your cursor a lot more consistently. But yes, I would say, okay, so yeah, for accelerating streams and especially for streams with hidden, yeah, a good way, especially usually when you mess up. Okay, actually, when you mess up with Flame, usually one of two things happened. Either like you started moving your cursor too fast, or you messed up the start of the like section or the chunk. Oh, I talked about chunking in a previous episode. I don't remember which one it was. Okay, well that one will be linked in the description as well. But yeah, honestly, if you're watching this episode, just go watch the previous ones because I reference them a lot, those concepts. So highly recommend checking out previous episodes. But yeah, usually I think messing up the start of a chunk makes it very easy to like get thrown off. And usually what happens is so okay, so let's say for example, in one section of, or like one, okay, so let's take this last, oh, this pattern is insane, by the way, at the end. Oh, if you're wondering how I jumped all the way to the last note, press the V button, V, and that jumps you, so Z or Z jumps you to the first object, and then V takes you to the end. If you want, if you want to look at like the last pattern, and just enter the editor, press V, and it'll take you there, and you can just use the scroll wheel to move around. So I think something that happens pretty commonly is you start tapping the burst and then you start aiming it, basically. Like you leave your cursor on the first note for too long. And like if you were to watch your replay, you would find that when you were trying to tap the 2, your cursor was still like not there yet. And that sort of throws you off a lot. So either that happens, or especially I think for accelerating streams or streams that have like a stack on like at the start, you can sometimes, I think usually what happens is you leave the stack too early and you end up aiming too quickly. I think those are the most common mistakes when it comes to flow aim. And it's sometimes very, very hard to tell exactly what you did wrong. And I often suggest people to, when they're training flow aim, watch your replay when you mess up and see what you did wrong, and then play the map again and try to fix it the next time. I think that's probably the best advice, I would say. But it's okay. Map number 2. This map is a good example of the other type of misaiming that I was talking about, which is so like leaving the start of the stream too early, basically. So I will show you. I think this map starts with like stacked, like there's like bursts of 5, but the first 3 notes are kind of stacked. Oh no. Okay, it's later in the map. Oh, okay, this map is very hard. Oh yeah, these. So it's very, okay, I really cannot play this in one try. It's very hard to explain, but basically you don't want to leave the stacked bit too soon, right? Because otherwise it's very common to, yeah, you'll just end up missing the whole thing. There's this thing in this game called note lock, where basically if you are trying to play the notes out of order, then it won't let you. Like the game will lock the notes and you'll end up missing. Oh, okay, I forgot that was there. Yeah, this map is very hard. So yes, note lock is basically you missed. So let's say if you missed one note of a stream, and you like are trying to hit the next one, the game still thinks that you're on the previous note. So it's not going to let you play the notes out of order. So it'll lock you. But then because streams are so fast and continuous, like because you got locked out of like one note, then you're gonna get locked out of the next note as well, because like you don't have time to just like go back and play the note that you got locked on, right? If that makes sense. So if you ever like seem like you're hitting an entire stream but you actually just miss it, that's usually why. So this note lock is very, very pesky. That's why I think it's very important to understand like what can go wrong regarding flowing. Okay, this section, tap stream alting for sure. Also, not talking while you play. that's another for sure. Okay, yeah. You know, I mostly wanted to show this map as an example of the stacked thingies I was talking about. So stuff like this, I think chunking is pretty important too. You want to, I think, slow down your cursor a lot, like in these middle sections, on like bursts like these, for example. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. Okay, a couple more maps. Okay, this map is incredible. If you made it this far in the episode, congratulations. I'm about to show you Pili Pala. This map is so good. So okay, so this map actually ranges in BPM, so it speeds up throughout the map. I think for the start of the map, tap alting is actually pretty possible, but towards the end of the map where it's faster, I think stream alting is usually a more viable way to play, or tap stream alting. So yes, and hopefully, by the way, hopefully those terms kind of make sense to you guys, because I feel like it's very hard to describe them, but hopefully I've done a decent job in the previous episodes explaining how they work. But yeah, so these patterns, even though they're pretty flowy, I think if you are able to tap them like more deliberately and individually, especially for very slow patterns like these, I think it helps a lot to be more deliberate on them, because it's actually pretty hard to control stream alting at like very slow BPMs. And okay, to be honest, okay, so this is something that I've noticed. I think people tend to have a preference towards either tap stream alting or stream alting. Like if you have really, or like very comfortable with like mid BPM, like 160 to 190 BPM streams, but you can't really do anything slower than that, you probably have a tendency towards stream alting rather than tap stream alting. And if you're very comfortable on lower BPMs, but you really struggle, like even though you're a pretty competent player, you would say, but you really struggle with like higher BPMs, stamina, then probably you naturally tend towards tap stream alting. So your taps are a lot more deliberate, and it's hard for you to break out of that. It takes practice, I think, and just understanding your tapping style, I think, is a pretty important step in that. But okay, so this is BPM number 2 of this map. It's still tap stream altable in my opinion, but how do I describe this? It's definitely more stream altable if you're comfortable with the BPM. But I think the cuts, it can be very hard to. Okay. I think a good way to describe it is like when you stream alt, your aim is also less deliberate, I think, if that makes sense, like to each individual note. So if the pattern itself is very, very flowy and you don't need like much aim control, then I think tap or like stream alting is fine because everything is just very flowy. Like okay, that stream for example, it's pretty consistent spacing and things like that. So in those cases, I think stream alting is fine. But like when the stream sort of stays still, I think in those cases, how do I describe it? So like if there's a cut at the end of the stream, for example, you're gonna want to be more deliberate. Basically, like when you need to jump your cursor at the, like really at any point in a cut stream, or like if there's just a jump after the stream ends, something like that, or if there's like a corner, like if the stream is like zigzag or something like that, I think being able to be very deliberate in cursor movement changes is a lot easier with tap stream alting. So yes, I don't know, hopefully that made sense. I think my brain just like died trying to explain that. Also, I feel like what part of your finger you tap with is also pretty important in like being able to control your aim, in my opinion. Okay, next map, by the way, next map. Very good map. I just want to actually have a score on, so I can just finish without worries. But this map I think is CS2. Oh yeah, okay, in case you guys are curious, I have automatic cursor size on. I didn't used to, but once I switched to the whale, it was like too large for smaller circles, so I turned the option on. Basically, it scales the cursor size. You can see it's actually a bit bigger when I enter the map versus when I'm in the main menu. The circle size is pretty big on this map. So yes, personal preference option, but I would say if you use a cursor such as the whale cursor, I would probably recommend turning it on, in my opinion. But okay, so this map, oh wait, I didn't check the BPM. What? 142, okay. So yeah, I think this is a pretty comfortable BPM for tap stream alting, if you're able to, although it's a bit tricky, but I think this map is probably a pretty good practice map for tap stream alting, just because of how the patterns are. There's a lot of zigzaggy stuff in this map, But okay, so the part of your finger that you hit the key with, I think kind of plays a role in finger control to some extent. That was very cool black spike, by the way. Yeah. Earlier today, okay, it's completely unrelated, but earlier today I was holding a top play and then my game lagged and I missed. That was very sad. There's definitely okay. Honestly, you may have already seen the clip of that score, but okay. Anyway, moving on. So the part of your finger that you tap with. Okay, so personally, what gives me the most control personally is tapping with like the very tips of my fingers, like on my fingernail. Almost like I have my fingernails cut really short, but yeah, I think overall like having your fingers straight down and like tapping with like the tip rather than what is the word, like the pad of your finger, I guess. You guys know what I'm talking about, the little front of your finger, like having your fingers flat on the keys. I think actually I don't know, let me try right now. Personally, I'm just not super used to it, but actually I don't know, I think there's actually no difference. Okay, and now that I think about it, you can tap either way and I think it actually doesn't make a big difference. Although okay, personally I find that having more flowy cursor movement is a little, or like being a bit more deliberate with my taps, and like just having a bit more aim control. Okay, I want big disclaimer for me personally. Okay, I don't know how many times to say that, but yes, you might be different, but for me personally, I think tapping with my fingertips helps with like both accuracy and deliberate aim control, things like that. Okay, let me switch back to normal tapping style. Yeah, I think it just helps me maintain accuracy while also being sort of deliberate. And yeah, just most comfortable for me personally. Hopefully it is very clear that you may be different and your mileage may vary. But yes, hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, okay, so this map definitely, it has a lot of, okay, so these patterns, for example, that are very, very flowy, are a lot nicer for just like normal stream alting, but these like cut, you know, things where you have to be very careful with your aim control. I think tap stream alting is a lot more important. It's like you sort of have a bit more deliberateness to each tap. It's still sort of continuous motion, but yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let's do one more map probably. Actually, I have time for two. I have two more maps prepared for this episode, so I think I'll just use two. Okay, this map is crazy. So this map has 1/6 bursts, I'm pretty sure. Also, it's a pretty sad score. But anyway, sad break. I actually forgot that score existed. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Okay, I feel like if you haven't ever felt the feeling that you forgot a score of yours exists, then you probably just haven't been playing the game enough. But those of you who have like just stumbled across a map and you're like, wow, I completely forgot I did this score. Yeah, you know the feel. But okay, so this map, oh, I didn't check the BPM again. Wait, let me just. Alright, so in case you're wondering if I'm ever like tabbing out or like if I'm ever checking some map stat, like the BPM or like when the map is from, that's just me. I press Alt Tab on my keyboard and I tap over to the beatmap web page. That is where I check that information. So I guess in case you're wondering, so this map is 170 BPM according to the website. Actually, the website only shows like one of the BPMs of the song. But actually, there might be a range. Okay, no, this one doesn't have a range. Okay, wait, man, I could have just put out the map in the first place to check the BPM, but whatever. Okay, yeah, but wait, actually, then I have no idea if the website shows BPM range. Okay, no, it doesn't. I think it shows the lowest BPM. Wait, actually, I actually don't know. Let me test this. Okay, let's go back to Pilipala. Okay, okay, so it probably shows the most common one because on the website, this map only shows 125 BPM, but it actually ranges up to 165. Yeah, okay, so these numbers basically. So the first number is the minimum BPM of the map. Obviously this is the maximum, 165, and then in parentheses it shows which BPM is most common, or like what BPM is the majority of the map. Like which BPM is most common throughout the map. So that's what those numbers mean. But if there's only one BPM number, then that means that it's the same BPM throughout the whole map. So yeah, okay, hopefully that makes sense. But okay, this map has 1/6 and 1/3 patterns, and so for maps like this in particular, I think okay, getting off of stream alting for patterns like those is, I think, very helpful. And okay, honestly, like being able to switch between the two, like stream alting for the most of the pattern, and then once there's a cut, oh shoot, once there's a cut, you switch to tap alting, if that makes sense. Kind of tricky to explain, but okay, so these like faster quads, that's 1/6 burst. Yeah, it's usually 4 notes. It's the same amount of time that a triple would be, but instead of a triple, it's 4 notes, and they're a little faster. So yeah, I think I feel like this whole episode just kind of boils down to learn how to tap stream alt. Yeah, actually, I think like there's a difference between flow aim for streams, which I'll probably touch on in another episode, and flow aim. Well, yeah, I'll probably touch on it in an episode where I actually talk about streams, or tapping stamina probably. So look forward to that. But yeah, I think this is more about like maps that challenge flow aim a lot more than they do tapping stamina. And then stream maps, I think, challenge both as well, both flow aim and tapping stamina, but they challenge stamina primarily, is I think the distinguishing factor. Okay, so there's these like, so this section of the map has like, oh shoot, like a stream, and then there's like these like doubles that cut. Yeah, those. And I think you can use stream alting for, oh, okay, that's fast. Use stream alting for like, how do you just go to the editor? This is very hard to explain like after the fact. Okay, let's see. Where is that pattern? Okay, yeah, here. So this green stream, I think like using stream alting up until like the 6 or 7, like the end of that pattern is good. And then like these patterns, you should probably like, this takes a lot more aim control and like sort of deliberateness, landing on each individual object. Like if you think about it, you're actually like snapping your cursor here. It's not flowy, so this is not actually flow aim. Even though it, well, anyway, I think hopefully that's clear. But yeah, being able to switch to tap stream alting, which is a bit more deliberate, right? But still continuous. I'm not sure how much I feel like I should explain those terms, but hopefully eventually, if it doesn't make sense to you, then I don't know, maybe it'll make sense someday. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So being able to switch between the two, especially for like very tricky alternating maps like these, very helpful, very helpful. Okay, I think I might actually cut it off here. I think there was one other map. I'll link it in the description. I don't think there's too much extra to add to this map, but it's pretty good. Loved map. Loved. I might do an episode on loved, actually. I probably should, but circles are huge in this map also. But good. I think what is it? It's conventional. I think this is like a very conventional flow aim map, because for the most part, I think it's also considered an alternating map, because it's not necessarily stamina. Like, what's the BPM? 160. Okay, so it's like kind of on the edge. It's an alternating map, but the spacing is very consistent for each burst. Like, there's no accelerating burst or anything like that. There's some finger control though, but the rhythm is very, very consistent, and I think in that sense, it's very conventional. I would call it a conventional map, a conventional alternating map. So, oh, whoa, what's that stream? It's crazy. Look at the spacing. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. But this is something that you can definitely stream alt, because it's very flowy. You don't need that much aim control. You just need to move your cursor in a smooth motion. So, but I think because it's so spaced, if you are able to have some sort of deliberateness without running out of stamina, like if you have the stamina to sort of have, it's like 20% tap alt and 80% stream alt on a pattern like this. I feel like you do want some sort of deliberateness, I feel like, to be consistent with your aim. But yes, anyway, with that, hopefully that all was somewhat clear. And yes, if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments or topic suggestions for future episodes. Yes, because I do read all the comments on these videos. And if you have, if you are watching in the future, be sure to check out my channel and watch my future videos because I upload these every single day. But yes, also check out my twitch.tv live streams. I would be very happy to have you guys there and hang out with me. But yes, with that, I'll see you guys next time.